Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Instant Match Reaction. Honestly, we'll give this our very, very best shot, Kenny. Ladies and gentlemen, we were accused last night. Loads of comments. Go and check YouTube. Chris got it in particular of being negative. That is why we are negative, because individual players and individual moments like that are just fucking catastrophic. And it makes you want to scream into a pillow when you see that level of absolute fucking nonsense. And it's the only way to describe it, Kenny. Good evening, mate. How are you?
Well, I've been better, mate. Yeah, another disappointing European evening. There's nothing much that you can say that's new to this, that we're not going to regurgitate, that we've done nothing but repeat ourselves in European nights this season, mate. So that's us out, and deservedly so. You can't go about defending like that and not scoring goals and expect to do anything at this level. It all comes down to recruitment, Stevie. Clearly, there is.
Listen, we've sacked him, but the truth is he should be fucking arrested for what he's done. The level of player he's brought in, mate, is scandalous. Is absolutely scandalous. And I don't care what people say. And I'm not saying that Danny Rowe's going to be the answer or he's going to be this, that, and anything else, but you cannot label any blame on him tonight when individual mistakes like that, the players are lazy, they are overrated, and I think they stroll about like they're unbelievable at the back and stuff like that. It's just he's having to play players that clearly are done and are finished. Yes, I want more time for Curtis and that, and yes, I want to see more, and hopefully he showed that. But individual mistakes killed us tonight, Kenny. And I will defend Rule because I don't think you can possibly, even if you had the best manager in the world, when a defender does that tonight, or both of them do what they done tonight, you just cannot legislate for that. So I'm not having this as on Danny Rule. I'm sorry, but I'm not. And again, this isn't a staunch defence and thinking he's wonderful or anything like that. I'm simply looking at what he's dealing with and realising that you cannot legislate for that.
No, you can't. There's nothing a manager can do when a centre half decides to do a 360 around a player and let him go goal side. What the hell are you meant to do as a guy on the touchline with that? It's mind-boggling what Manny Fernandez does. It's appalling that Tavernier doesn't even attempt to close that down at all, that cross.
It's so lazy.
The first goal's not any better, mate. It's there's 3 or 4 of them so lazy, not tracking. But I'll say this, and I don't want to sit there and stick the boot into anybody in particular tonight because I don't see the point. But I will say this, that if there is one criticism of Danny Rule here, he's doing the job with one hand tied behind his back, Stevie. But I said to you before we came online here that I don't ever really want to see Tello Asgard or Chermiti in this team ever again. They're not good enough, mate. They're coming on with 15, 20 minutes to go and strutting about, barely touching a ball, and just wandering about as if they are something when they're not contributing anything whatsoever. So kindly, Danny, do us all a favour and bin these players, because I'm at that point now, Stevie, where we have sat since the summer and we have bitter tongue over and over and over again with certain situations that have arisen. And you're doing it because you're trying to be balanced and diplomatic enough. There is players here that are fucking shaming this shirt and they're not good enough. And I'm not going to stick the boot into individuals too much, Stevie. But the audience here will know who we're talking about. There is 5 or 6 of these players. I'll tell you something that really, really fucking grounded right into me today was when Gassama went off and his reaction to the pass just before he went off, and he's still pontificating about the place a minute or 2 later, shouting and bawling, and you're like, no, the pass was to you. You're the one that's away. There is no space in behind, so you can't ask for it to go beyond you. You can ask it for maybe a yard in front of you, but there's no space in behind. So he's talking rubbish and arguing with his own teammate when we're under the cosh and he gets substituted. And I think Danny Rule might well have substituted James Tavernier out of sheer frustration today. Do you know that? I actually think he might have, because what Tavernier done tonight, we have watched for many, many years, but that is unforgivable. Genuinely for me, for that second goal, it's unforgivable.
Let's try and unpack that. We start really slowly, a couple of minutes in, Kenny. What Giga and Fernandes are doing is a sign of things to come. Fernandes should come over. And so this is what I'm talking about when I say they're lazy. Like, they watch situations unfold and they don't react. Like, Fernandes almost jogs through a game. Giga jogs through a game. And Giga, by the way, had a couple of good blocks in that tonight, but he is still miles away from being good enough of what we need to be. And genuinely, that moment, 2 minutes in, the boy screws it wide, is probably as close. Then we sort of rejig and we defend. We're set up really well. 5's good. 2 in midfield, 3 up front, and we know we are limited all over the place, but we weren't being pulled apart. We weren't being overly bothered by Ferencvaros, and we were okay. And we start to put together a few moves, and we know fine well that nothing's at the end of it, because Miovski's having to come really deep to sit in and defend, which he does do quite well. Gassama and Danilo aren't in the game. Danilo linked up a couple of times, but he's just not got the legs. Danilo's done. I think we can all say that and understand. And I still think he's the best finisher we've got, but it doesn't really say much about what else he's doing. Miovski's starting to show. And then we have that moment, don't we, where the goal comes, Miovski with an unbelievable finish, Kenny, and we're 1-0 up. And do you know what? We're quite decent for it, because we are set up well and we do look okay. And we are kind of getting all right on it. And it's a wonderful finish for our goal.
It's a tremendous finish, and it's actually a decent and well-worked wee move, and came completely out the blue. It's a tremendous finish from Bojan Miovski. It really is. However, you mentioned something there, Stevie, about the 5 at the back. Now, with all respect to Ferencvaros, who are a decent enough outfit tonight, I didn't think they were great. I thought they were all right. That's where we're at. That's where Kevin Thelwell, Dan Purdy, and Patrick Stewart have managed to place us. That we're going away to a place where, over the last 7 or 8 years, Stevie, we would have cantered to at least a draw in that game with the squads that we've had previously. Danny Rule has taken this squad. He's tried to organise them, and he's fully aware at this level we have to be defending in numbers. That's the only way we're going to keep teams out. And even then, when you get those individual errors, that's what's going to happen. But the goal itself, it just kind of stunned me, actually, because I was sitting taking notes for this tonight, and I thought he was clearly offside. And then when I seen the first replay, I actually thought the boy's left foot was going to keep him onside here, and it was. But I was delighted because I thought it gave us a bit of a foothold in the game. I thought we had got into the game reasonably well. And as you say, the structure that we had was probably causing Ferencvaros a serious issue in terms of getting in behind us. They weren't really bothering us, Stevie. And we know what happens. But if you can hold on to that half time, maybe the second half's slightly different, but we'll never know now.
Something that was annoying me is the amount of times that we give the ball away, and we all know that there's a real lack of quality, but Jack Butland's distribution tonight was howling. Every time he got it at his feet, it almost seemed, it's like he's trying to play the way Russell Martin wanted him to play, knocking it about and kind of fizzing these low balls out. It wasn't working, and it gradually was getting us back into play. But on 48 minutes, coming on to 49 in injury time, Jack Butland's got it in his hands, and we're a minute away, and he kicks a ball long. It goes straight to the goalkeeper and gives them back the possession. And from that, they go forward, Kenny, and the goal comes. The goal, when it comes, is just excruciating to watch. Gassama is a lazy player. We know that. We know he's a lazy player, but at this moment, he's a lazy player who's miles out of form. And it just makes his attitude, it makes everything look really bad. He runs off the boy runs off him with absolute ease. He doesn't follow him, and it's a domino effect. And Raskin then has to come and shut him down, but he has to leave his man. Nobody shuffles over. It's like a game of statues because nobody reacts. It's like Fernandez again for that chance after 2 minutes. Everybody's watching, nobody's reacting, and it's not good enough. And then the finish comes. We know that nothing Butland can do, and it's so predictable that our game management in moments like that, and it comes down to individual players. You cannot coach players when they switch off. It's to do with the level. I'll tell you something right now. See Villarreal are in for Gassama, and we are going to get a pretty penny for him. Then thanks very much for your 6 months. There's nobody in this squad right now that's untouchable for the right amount of money, and he's certainly not. And I just thought that moment just kind of summed us up. It's such a mix of frustration and the other side of you going, well, Stevie, what do you really expect from this group? Because it just unfortunately summed them up. And it's right on the stroke of half time. It's just so frustrating. I don't see how individual moments like that, and people are saying Danny Rowe's not getting the best out. You cannot get the best out of players who do that. It's impossible.
Well, a fair bit to unpack there, mate, right? Jack Butland, I thought, as you say, his distribution tonight was nothing short of ridiculously bad. There was a point, maybe the start, I think it was the start of the second half. I can't remember if it was 5-10 minutes into the second half, where he gets the ball and he immediately launches it to Nico Raskin, who's got 4 Ferencvaros players round about him. And he has to dribble inside his, get into his own box to try and get it away. It was what on earth are you thinking, throwing the ball in there? The most dangerous area of the pitch. You've got a boy 3-4v1. I don't know, mate. I'm just at that really frustrated stage now because I'm not surprised by any of this now. But the goal itself, I'm going to disagree with Alan Hutton slightly because Alan Hutton said at halftime that he runs off Gassama and Gassama's never going to get there. He doesn't have to get there. He just has to track his runner and close the angle. That's what clever players do. You're not going to get there and stop the ball coming in, at the guy's foot. But you can go and shut that angle down. And it means Nico Raskin doesn't need to come across. And I thought Nico Raskin was one of the very few plus points tonight. I thought Nico, again, was very decent tonight. I thought he played really pretty well. But he's almost like a one-man team at times here. It's just ridiculous. Where you're sitting there looking at, I thought Connor Barron was decent in the first half. I thought he was appalling in the second half. Absolutely appalling.
Yeah, I thought Raskin and Barron worked hard. I thought they gave us a lot, won a lot of second, pressed quite a lot. But on the ball, Kenny, they were both distribution-wise was really good. It's because they're often forced into passing because there's nobody with the right movement or there's nobody with the right angles at all. So they're often forced into doing something they shouldn't do or attempt to do, and they get the ball away. But I did agree with you. I thought Barron was really poor in the second half. I don't think there's too many plus points. But, they did give us, I thought Meg Homa was okay. Middle two, nope, not at all. Tav, I'm sorry. Sterling looked fairly comfortable when he's come on, enough to say that I don't care how fit he is, he should really be going in somewhere in that back line, preferably in the middle. So aside of that, in the second half, Kenny, there wasn't a lot on, and here's what I mean about Raskin, right? And it happened probably about 2 or 3 minutes before Ferencvaros scored their second. Raskin burst through, and we were options either side. And he burst through, and we ended up back at Butland. And when we're in that position, you have to go and make it. You have to go and make a chance. You have to go and force something. We don't do anything. And it just sums us up. We're toothless. There's nothing there. Finlay Curtis looked dangerous on the left. And nobody on this podcast or in the Rangers support thinks that Nico Raskin that Finlay Curtis is is the next Loudrop or Neil McCann coming. But we do know that what he'll give you is better than what we're watching. That's the frustration of Finlay Curtis not getting game time. You've seen from his chance it just went wide that he's got an eye for goal. He's going to take chances on. that little moment, and probably 2 or 3 minutes later, Ferencvaros then score. And it's that moment that we don't have anything that's decisive enough. Nico Raskin in that position should do something with it for me. He doesn't. It goes back to Butland and it's rinse and repeat. And that moment, Kenny, I don't know if you remember the one I'm talking about, but that moment kind of sums up where we are as a team. And just we're incapable of doing the proper things and we just don't have the quality to do it.
It's indecision right across the pitch. And it's a weird one, that, because if it's the incident I think you're talking about, we get to their 18-yard box, we pass it back, we pass it side, we pass it backwards again, and all of a sudden it ends up at Giga, who passes it all the way back to Jack Butland, and you're like, we were 20 yards from their goal 10 seconds ago, and every one of you is just retreated to your own goal line. It's mad. But listen, I'm going to apologise because I'm coming across quite ranty and not following any agenda here. I am just very frustrated again tonight because the incident you're talking about, I've seen that about, or slightly different but similar, 15, 20 times tonight, Stevie, where there's a pass on and whoever's making that pass passes it 2 yards behind a player or straight out the pitch or just nowhere near its intent. The passing ability is appalling. The lack of confidence is just so clear. And it's just one of these things that you look at and you think, this is just a bit silly watching this now, where you kind of feel, I've watched this over and over and over again, and every now and again, and I don't want to sit there and come across like this, but I genuinely mean this, every now and again I'm getting like this is just doing my head in watching this team. So the quicker January comes and we see some new additions, the better, mate. How different it's going to look come the end of January, we have no idea. It's going to be really difficult, but I have had my fill of a number of these players.
It has to look different, and we'll go to the second goal now before we kind of have our say on other things. But the second goal, man alive, like, where do you start with that? It's a bog standard 1v1. James Tavernier, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, he's done. He's done. He doesn't have the legs. He doesn't have the ability. He should stop the cross. He doesn't. Right, okay, I don't know what the hell's going on through Manny Fernandez's mind. It's like one of those moments that you just think, what have I just watched? I don't know what he's doing. He's not facing the ball. He doesn't know where the ball is. He doesn't look to see where the cross is coming from. He's trying to mark a man who he completely loses because he's got the run on him. Of course he's got the run on him. I don't know what he's doing. He's looking up at the clouds. And what happens next is just absolutely criminal. Just when you think Tav is sold it, Manny Fernandez has just completely bottled it in the middle. This is what I'm talking about when I think about players that really think they're better than they are, that really think that they can just strut around games. I don't see any urgency in this team. The defence, literally, McHoma was the only one tonight that looked like he was given it all. It looked like he was bursting a gut. I don't include James Tavernier in that because I don't feel that. I just feel that his body's letting him down more than anything else. He just can't stop the cross. He's just not got it. But Fernandez in the middle, Kenny, this is what I'm talking about when I say Danny Rule isn't. I'm not saying that Danny Rule is the answer. I'm not saying that Danny Rule is completely untouchable in terms of if you want to disagree with selections or subs or anything like that. That's fine to have that opinion. What I'm saying is, how can you criticise a manager or a head coach when stuff like that happens? How is it on him? I don't understand it. I don't get it. He's got not many options to play. He's got no other centre-backs available. Nsiala's not in the European squad. What is he supposed to do tonight? I just don't get it. You cannot legislate for moments like that, Kenny. It's as individually as bad as I've seen in a very long time, and it probably puts quite a significant nail in Manny Fernandez's Rangers career before it's really even got off the ground, because people won't trust him now and they won't trust him after that. And we were already nervous. We're trying to talk him up. We're trying to talk, positively around it. But there's times out there that he looks like he done it at Tannadice with the first goal. He looks like he just doesn't belong as a centre half. That tonight is murder. It's absolutely diabolical.
he did that a couple of times today as well, where he's standing there as virtual last man and decides he's going to dribble and beat a guy. And the belief is all very good and well, but somebody needs to explain to him that at that level, he's nowhere near that level at this moment in time. Probably never will be at that level. Where good players, good international players, playing for Ferencvaros or anybody else that we've played in this competition, will just turn up and take the ball off you. They're far too astute, far too aware. James Tavernier, for me, that it was summed up at maybe about Finlay Curtis was on, because he turned around and Finlay Curtis drove forward at the same point when Tavernier was telling him to go back and telling him to calm everything down. And Finlay Curtis, we're 2-1 down, we've got about 10, 15 minutes to go, whatever it was. And Finlay Curtis goes and gets a cross in. Meanwhile, our captain is turning around and saying, no, bring it backwards. It kind of sums it up to me, Stevie, the mentality of this squad at this moment in time. The second goal, I don't even know what to say apart from what I've already said. It's inexplicable that your captain allows that man 3 yards of space to take one touch, take two touch, and pinpoint his cross, and then without being closed down in any way, shape, or form, Stevie, all the time in the world to pick where he wants to put it. What Manny Fernandez is doing, I genuinely have no clue. Somebody should ask him, what were you thinking? Because he literally does a pirouette, doesn't he? He does a 360 and lets the guy get in front of him. At any level of football, Stevie, at amateur level of football, your teammates are going to bollock you for that. In a game of five-a-side, your mates are going to chastise you out to hell for that. I don't know what to say. It's schoolboy stuff, mate. It's pathetic.
And then there's not much else. We don't do much else. Finlay Curtis has an effort. Sterling has a header at the back post. I'm going to go back to last night again, and I'm going to go back to some of the feedback we had. This podcast is too negative. I'm not going to listen anymore. I'm unsubscribing. Chris is too negative. You boys, you're not positive enough. Talk up some of the positives. I'm sorry, I'm not sugarcoating this. This is fucking dreadful. Individual players should never be in that Rangers team. They're never miles good enough. It's awful. James Tavernier's done. I'm sorry. It's time to move him on, but there's nobody else. Fernandez and Giga are nowhere near close to being Rangers good enough. And not even Manny Fernandez isn't even close to being fifth choice on the standards that we should have. No wonder we're saying keep Suter as a fourth choice, because there's nobody else. The midfield work hard. They don't have the quality around them at all. The front three, Gassama's lazy, Danilo's done, and Miovski. I think Miovski is probably a good forward and can take chances, but we don't create, and we know that. That's why we want Finlay Curtis. That's why we want Lyle Cameron. Nobody's saying they're world beaters. Nobody's saying they're untouchable, but they're better than what we're seeing. Tello Asgard's mile away from Rangers players. I'm not interested in even trying with him. Josip Chermiti looks like he's won a competition to be a Rangers player. He's absolutely dire. And I just don't have it, and I don't have time for it anymore, Kenny. I'm not willing to put time into these guys. I'm not willing to wait to see if they can do better. January needs players out the door, and it needs players urgently in the door. And we can say, by the time we get to January, if they defend like this, it will be done, even if we're clinging on. But at this moment in time, we don't have an option. They need to treat January like it's the summer, and we urgently need to restart absolutely everything. Centre halves, I thought one. Christ, we need two. We need left back support. We need a 10. We need a 10. Somebody with legs. Somebody that's a ball carrier. The right wing has been a shambles for years. I miss the days of Candeas, because he was the last one that I remember that was decent out there. And even when we won the league, we didn't have a natural right side. But we need to stop pretending that guys like Manny Fernandez, Chermiti, Asgard, the likes, or even you know, Danny, etc., has still got it, because they don't. They are done. We need to be ruthless. We need to move them on. Stop pretending these guys aren't good enough, because they're not. This is Rangers. Your levels of incompetence tonight were just too much, and I'm not having it anymore. If people don't want to listen and they don't like it and it's too negative, I accept that. I absolutely accept it. Go and listen somewhere else, because I'm not sugarcoating it anymore, and I'm quite tired of being told that there's positives and individuals will do this, that. They're not. They're not good enough. Get them out of the club. Get it sorted. The Americans have overseen absolutely everything. Great, Andrew Kavanagh. I appreciate that. Appreciate the money. Fix your mistakes quickly. Otherwise, we will continue to watch a season where Rangers will finish 4th, 5th, 6th, because that's the level of defending we saw tonight. Get them out of our club. Get it fixed quickly. Stop messing about.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with that. Every word of it. I had a word with Chris last night. Chris messaged me and he said that he had noticed that the comments were pretty harsh on him. And I said, I had made a joke of it, and I said,
comments were a disgrace, because he's
right. A disgrace.
Go and watch the show last night and watch what he said. He says, I didn't think we'd win 7 games because we can't defend. He says we shouldn't keep continuing to play Giga, shouldn't keep continue to play Fernandez. He said all these things, and yet 24 hours later, we've seen why he said it. He's not wrong. He might be negative, he might be pessimistic, because he's only calling what he can see, and that's why he's on the podcast. And that's why we're here as well. We try to add a wee bit, I think, we try to be grounded a wee bit. We try and talk it up. We try and be positive, because it would be really bad to come on a podcast and be negative the whole time. But you cannot fucking watch that tonight and turn around and say that we are anywhere near the level we are, because we're not. So I'm not accepting it. I'm not accepting the criticism. I'm not accepting people saying we're not listening, or we're not. Don't listen then, because we will continue to call out. If you're happy with this level, that's what's going to happen tonight. It's miles away from being good enough for Rangers Football Club, and we should never accept it.
I've known Chris a long time, mate, so I know you have too. We're all mutual friends when it comes to Chris. And I used to podcast with Chris before, as you well know, for those that don't know that. And I can tell you this right now, for the 4 or 5, 6 years, whatever it is that I've known Chris Bett, I can categorically tell you right now that he's got about 90% of what he says right. Whether people like it or not, I don't give a shit. And frankly, I'm not here to sit and defend Chris, because he's big enough to do that himself, and he'll take on all comers, but he doesn't give a fuck what people think about him. And I'm just at that point where I'm looking at the comments when I clocked them, and I thought, that is outrageous. This is a very vindictive, very personal, and you're like, well, this is not what this podcast's about. If you don't like the opinion, you're perfectly at liberty to come on and tell us you don't agree with us, but don't fucking make it personal. It's just rude. It's just downright rude. And I felt for Chris last night, because 90% of the comments were utterly unjustified. Whether people want to agree with me or disagree with me, again, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what people think. We are all friends on this podcast, and we will be fucking defend each other to the hilt. So I'm at that point now where I kind of switch off for the comments, mate. I get it. You get it sometimes. We all get it sometimes on the comments. I don't care. It's just a comment section. But what I will say about this is, whether people like it or not, I will never apologise for my opinion on this podcast. That's what I'm here for, to give my opinion. And Rangers, at this minute in time, are a pile of shite. That is not acceptable. It's not good enough. It's Rangers in name only. Get this sorted as a football club, and get it sorted very quickly, because we are only a microcosm of the support. But trust me on this. I've been saying this to you for 2 years, Stevie. The patience and the tolerance is gone for shit like this. And yeah, I'm angry tonight. I'm pissed off, because I'm looking at a team that the one thing that we've had to cling on to over the last 6 or 7 years, bar that one season where we won the league in 22, 21, 22, whatever it was, is our European form. And there's individuals that were at our football club that have utterly humiliated us this season with this nonsense, and I'm sick of it. I'm just bored of it. And as I say, I'll defend you, I'll defend Chris, and I'll defend every single Four Lads team member for their opinion. They're entitled to it, whether you like it or not when you're watching. I don't care.
Yeah, as I said, folks, we will continue to try and call it how we see it. If it's not your particular brand of coffee, you're fine to watch elsewhere. But we will not come on and sugarcoat this, because less than 24 hours, that's the reason why we're pessimistic. That's the reason why we will call it. Would you rather we come on and say, no, we'll win 7 out of 7. Look at our team, we're this or that. We're not. That's the reality of the situation here. How we're still in touching grasp of top spot remains a mystery to me, because we should be miles away considering the team we have and the efforts we make on a match day. It really is that bad. We'll move on, folks. We will be back tomorrow evening. Hope you all join us 7 o'clock. Myself, Cheryl, Mark, Amrit, who's at the game tonight. There will be a match vlog from Amrit at some point when he gets it sent over to us as well. And then we will be back on Sunday evening as well. So there's plenty of podcasts coming up, plenty of coverage, which we hope you will join us for. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe on YouTube. We really appreciate it. If you want to be a member and support the podcast, you can do. There is a bit to scan up the top left from as little as 99p. If you're a member, please go and check out Davy Robertson. It is episode 4 of the Rangers years, and I sit down with one of the best left backs and finest Rangers players that I've seen in my lifetime. 12 honours, and Davy Robertson was an absolute pleasure to have him on the podcast. Kenny, never easy. Thank you, mate, for joining me. Thank you for your candour as well. You don't always need to agree to come on, but you do, ever present as normal, and I appreciate it.
Not at all, mate. It's one of these things. I will stand by every word I've said here tonight, Stevie. Whether people like it or not, I don't care. This is your podcast. It's your name that's on it. You have a team behind you, and Chris is a vital member of that team, same as I am, and Dougie, and Scott, and Cheryl, and everybody else, and Davey, a lot of them. And they're entitled to their opinion, and we will defend them for allowing us the privilege of letting them say their opinion. It's not easy. All these guys that come onto these comment section and turn around and tell us that we're this, we're that, we're the next thing, Stevie. You're welcome to come on and do a live in front of 20,000 people if you want to. See how your fucking nerve holds when you just get pumped again, and it's never easy. So I'm fed up with reading some of the stuff that goes on in the comments, mate. It's just social media and the way it is. It's just tedious and boring, and I'm too old for it. And as I say, when I see things like what happened to Chris last night, it's not acceptable. Think about, this is another Rangers fan you're talking to, and you're personally abusing them. It's not acceptable, and it never will be. Not on here. That's what I would say. Not on here.
Well, tell you one thing for nothing, we've done more defending than that fucking Rangers defence tonight, that's for sure. Huge thank you to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clyview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athlon Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Condition, Candid, and our Sunday sponsor, Local Dart Shop Online. Everybody in the comments, thank you for your involvement. Thousands will be watching. We really appreciate it. As we said, we're back tomorrow night. We will analyse this more. We will get more match reaction. And please continue to listen in. How do you sum it up? This Rangers team aren't good enough. I cannot, by good conscience, sit here and defend any of those players that were on tonight, because they aren't good enough. They aren't where we need to be. Individual, maybe one or two of them should be. The crimes of the summer are playing out right in front of us, and I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, because you can't. Danny Rule, for me at this moment, is doing the very best he can with hands behind his back. I don't think that he is untouchable. I don't think he's beyond criticism. But how you can possibly say that the manager has to coach and he has to do this and that, I'd blame him for levels of complete incompetence. And damn right, woeful defending and individual moments is incredible to me. You can't. How he's managed to get 5 wins out of 7 for me in the league is quite unbelievable, really. How he's been undefeated in those 7, even more so. What happens in the next 7 games, I've got no idea, because if you get moments like that, it's just miles away from being good enough. This Rangers squad aren't good enough. This Rangers individuals aren't good enough. And until that changes, I'll continue to call it how we see it. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Thanks for joining us. It finishes Ferencvaros 2, Rangers 1. And it's another evening that teaches us very little, because we already know this team aren't good enough. The crimes of the summer, I will repeat, are coming back to roost. And we need a lot better at this football club. And we will not sit back and say or sugarcoat it other than the way it should be. And it's not good enough. Take care. Well, we won't. It's not on. We'll see you tomorrow evening, folks. Hope you have a good Friday. Come and join us again at 7 o'clock. Take care.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.